Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. All right, Roxstars, before we get to everything else, it's the Rona check-in, making sure that you guys are all good. Me and my family are all good. One more week of escaping the virus of corona. If you guys are not good, hopefully you will all be good in the very, very near future. What is there to say? We still chugging on along. Coronavirus is still going up in many states. When you look at the map of the United States, it is mostly on the right side. It is mostly on the lower half. The southern states just don't seem to know how to manage this virus. Of course, there are still problems in Arizona, but Arizona seems to be finally flattening out some. California also is still rising, and I thought that they were going to go back to a full-blown shutdown, and I don't think that they have gotten there, but I guess they're taking it day by day. As far as our economy, more importantly, the stimulus package that they have tried to keep the economy going, Democrats and the Republicans are trying to figure out what they're going to do about the CARES Act, if it is going to be extended. I believe that it will need to be extended because the economy is not going to survive without it. People need the money. People aren't working. Businesses are shut down. There has to be some sort of push there. So what they've come up with so far, and what looks like they have agreed to anyway, is another round of the $1,200 stimulus checks. And they believe that that will help by putting money in people's pockets for them to pay bills. It's their hope that they'll be able to get that out to the people by the end of August. Congress is about to go on vacation, or break, I should say. And I believe they'll be on break for 30 days. And I believe that break begins right before Labor Day. So I think that there is an extreme push for them to try to, get all of this handled, but it's not really looking all that promising. I think they said that there's gonna also be for parents that have older children, they'll be able to get $500. You know how before you were only able to get the extra money if you had a child that was up to the age of 16, and then anybody over 16 didn't get anything. However, the colleges, if you had a college student, then the colleges did get some money. The kids did get money back from the colleges, but it was not a part of the $1,200 round that the parents got. But now you'll be able to get $500, I believe, if you have a child up to 21 years old. Also, the biggest question is what is going to happen with unemployment and the extra $600 that people were getting a week. I talked about this last week, and in my comments, some people were like, it's a lot of people that's getting this money that don't need it. They're making more money than they were, and that is true. But I think the majority of people need this money, okay? Instead of concentrating on the few that may be coming up, you need to focus more on the majority of people who actually going to need this money. And actually, even that $600 a week is just floating them by, especially, like I said, if you live in high, if it's a high cost of living in the state that you live in, the city that you live in. So that is the biggest point of contention. The Republicans feel like the $600 a week is hindering people from going back to work. Why go to work when you make more than you would if you were off? Okay, so they wanted to drop it. I mean, not off, if you were at work. So they want to drop it down to $200. The House shot that out the water and said no. Of course, the Democrats want to keep it at $600, or at least keep it at $600 until they can come up with another plan, which is to base it on everyone's salary. Okay, the people that are now no longer working, who are unemployed, then you would go back and then you would base it on their salary. I think they're saying 70% of their salary. Okay, and even that will be difficult because 70% of some people's salary still is not going to do it. Some people feel like they are underpaid already, and 70% definitely ain't going to do it. So, you know, the Democrats are like, you want everybody to take a 30% cut in pay? And then when I think about them trying to calculate these salaries and all of the work for the people that will have to do this in the unemployment offices where they're already understaffed because people have fallen ill to the virus, I mean, just a whole bunch of work and mess, and I don't know how they're going to get it done. But like I said, they're trying to get it done before everybody goes on break, so the pressure is on. And I think the pressure is more on the Republicans. The Democrats are not trying to budge on many of these issues. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the Rona, the thing is, you're asking people to not go anywhere, not do anything. There's no money putting into there's no money that's being put into the economy. Somehow we have got to get this thing rolling, okay? But yeah, they can't figure it out. As far as the schools are concerned, I think that most people have decided that they are not sending their kids to school. Or I should say most schools have decided that they're going to do this virtually. Of course, there are some parents that are upset about that because they need their children to go to school, either because they are also at work full time, or they've seen that their children have had a decline in education because they haven't been to school. You know, I have friends that have children that are in elementary, middle school, and high school, and a lot of them are concerned about the fact that, you know, the children, them missing the social part of going to school and actually being there, and actually have, you know, that some of their kids are depressed and some of their kids are not, you know, thriving because they are not online people. You know, they do better with face-to-face contact. So it's a lot of things that are happening, and I understand the push to want to get everybody back in the classroom. But like I keep saying, it's not going to help anybody if everybody is fucking sick. And then it is a lot to ask the teacher, the staff, you know. Maybe if the government had some precautions in place where the staff would feel comfortable about going to the schools, you know, it would be different. But when you have a government that is telling you to kind of figure it out on your own, and you don't know what to do because you're scared and all of this, then it all just falls apart. So, but I think that for the most part, people are doing this virtually. And there are a lot of parents that are not happy about that. But what can you do? Many of you guys told me that you have, you know, school-age children, and most of you said that you were not sending your children back. So, but there are some cities that I know that you guys have mentioned in the comments that were able to successfully do it. You know, I think I saw something about some school district in Virginia that was doing well with it, but that is not the case for most of the United States. So that's it on the Rona check-in, you guys. What else is there to talk about? What do you guys want to talk about Rona? Like I said, hopefully you guys are all well out there. Y'all continue to be safe, continue to be careful, continue to watch out. All right, you guys, before we get to the entertainment full of fucking niggatry, let's just do an update on the protest. And more specifically, you guys remember Umbrella Man. They had named this person Umbrella Man. He was what we thought, even back then, it was a white guy that was dressed in all black, completely covered, but just the face part, the opening of his mask, where it looked like he was a white man. He was recorded right after George Floyd, when the protests started. He was spotted knocking out the windows in the AutoZone in a store out in Minneapolis. People were running up to him and telling him to stop it, but he wouldn't do it. He just kept on knocking the windows out. When somebody actually had the videos of him and got up close enough to him, that is when he stopped and just walked away. But people were telling him to stop it because up until then it had been a pretty peaceful protest and nobody had started to riot, you know, and burn down buildings and looting. So the police had determined that he was the beginning of the rioting getting out of control after George Floyd was killed. So they had been trying to find this person. They ended up getting an email tip, and someone said that he was a well-known white supremacist and that he was a member of the Hells Angels bike club. Okay. They also said that he had a prior record, had been in trouble for domestic violence and assault. So the police were aware of this person. They have not released his name yet, which is interesting to me. Okay, when you guys have said that you think that this is the person, but they haven't released his name. But they have said that they are going to subpoena his cell phone records. There's an affidavit out for it, and they're going to try to figure out if he was in the area, you know, of the stores at the time. It had started to circulate when this happened that it was a police officer for the St. Paul Police Department, and the chief there said that he knew that it wasn't that particular police officer because they knew where their police officer was, the one that was being accused. So, yeah, evidently they're trying to figure out if they're going to arrest this man or not. I guess it is going to fall on what his cell phone records say, but supposedly we have a good idea who Umbrella Man is. But if you would have asked the black people in the neighborhood back when it happened, they could have told you that it was a white man. I guess they didn't know his name, but the white man part is not a surprise. Rest in peace to iconic television host, game show host, talk show host, Regis Philbin. We all know who he is. He's the super spry, happy, like I said, host of many things, who died the other day of natural causes. It's always shocking that certain people you just don't think is, you know that everybody has it in them to die, of course, but certain people, you just don't expect them to die. Just like Kelly said on her show with Ryan the other day. But I was sitting in the living room and Joe came up the stairs and he said, Regis died. And I was like, Regis Philbin died? Okay. You know, not even thinking about the fact that the man is 88 years old. And I mean, it wasn't like he was 38, but I just never expected. He's been around so long. Brought so much laughter into our living rooms, at least I know from my generation, from watching him with Kathy Lee and then watching him on How to Be a Millionaire. When How to Be a Millionaire first started, that show was the shit. Everybody was watching that show. And he was the host that brought that show to be, I think they said, like the #1 nighttime game show ever. But people also love Regis because of his sense of humor, his timing, his ability to just kind of make you laugh no matter what. He had a career of 60 years on television, was on the talk show live for many, many years. I think he ended up stopping when he started to have heart issues. I know some years ago he had because his cholesterol was so high and out of control, he ended up having heart surgery. I mean, he had his bypass surgery at the age of 75, which is a lot on an older person. That is an extensive and involved surgery, for them to remove a blockage, and for him to survive that was great. But after that, I believe he began to slow down. And these last few years, like I said, his health began to decline. We saw him less and less. Just an extreme loss. And people were so affected by his death. Kelly Ripa cried the whole entire Monday show after he died. He's survived by his wife, Joy. Okay, their daughters, JJ and Joanna Philbin. And he had another daughter with his first wife, Amy Philbin. That wife is Catherine Faden. Okay. He was 88 years old, loved by many, many all over. Rest in peace to Regis Philbin. All right, you guys. So let's talk about our girl, Meg the Stallion. So I told you guys, we've been talking about, this is the 3rd week, so I think this is going to be it. But we talked about the fact that she had been shot in the feet. Didn't realize it was both feet, but it was both feet she was shot in. There was some sort of mix-up with her and Tory Lanez, and that was the result. They almost got their asses arrested. It was a big mess. We saw it all on video, TMZ and whatnots. Evidently and understandably so, Meg the Stallion was traumatized by this event. I can't imagine getting shot. It's nothing that I would ever want to experience. And so, yeah, it makes sense that she would be quite sensitive about what happened to her. People thought that it was funny to tease her about it because that's just the nature of the beast. Social media just gives everybody that license because you don't have any accountability. You can kind of say or do what you want and nobody really has any real way to get to you. Okay, so there were a lot of jokes that were going around and people teasing and laughing about it. I told you guys about Drea last week that had gone on a podcast show and, you know, said that she wishes that somebody loved her enough to shoot her, where Meg actually came after her and called her a dumb bitch, and actually that has costed Drea her deal with Savage Fenty, their lingerie line, even after she apologized. These businesses are not fucking around with y'all these days, okay? The things that you were able to say and do back in the day, you can still say and do it, but it will cost you, okay? So people have to realize that the temperature in the room right now, it is not time for that. And Meg the Stallion was also a representative, an ambassador, I should say, for Savage Fenty. So they did let Drea go. So that's unfortunate, but just an example of how these things can happen if you just be running your mouth and not really thinking about what you say first. But anyway, people were teasing her, and she finally came out and did a video, a live video recently, which actually just, I felt really sorry for her because it felt like she wanted to break out and cry. I don't think people realize that the loss of your parent and, you know, your mom really, if you had a relationship with your mom, how difficult it is for you to get back on track once they're gone. Even if you expected, you know, I know that Meg the Stallion's mom was young. I mean, Meg is young, so her mom had to be around my age. And this is a time when you really need to have your mother around when you're in your early 20s and you've got all of the success heaped on you. Her mother was always her manager. And then for her mom to pass, I just know from experience when my mother passed, it was very hard for me to get back to regular real life. For years, I think I just kind of didn't care and just was in a really dark and bad place. So I know that that's where Meg was. So when she was talking about just trying to surround herself around things and people that she felt would make her happy, you know, I think she's now realized that maybe that wasn't the best decision, and that decision was the reason why, you know, ultimately she got shot in the foot, because you cannot continue to open yourself up to people who don't mean you any good. They're there for the good time. You're the hot girl at the moment. Other than that, they don't really care about you. Anybody that's trying to shoot you is not caring about you. Anybody that pulls a gun on you does not care about you. You know, I think that was a realization for her. And I think it's hard for her, you know, and maybe that made her kind of look at some other people in her circle and be like, yeah, this one ain't, you know, this one. And just kind of open your eyes to a lot of things that you have got to do. Maybe needs to be some inner reflection, you know, some self-reflection, and just trying to figure out why are you moving the way that you are. Even I had to do that, you know, but I didn't do that for years, and it took a toll on a whole lot of things, not just me, but my family and my marriage, all of that. So, I think it's good that, you know, if anything good came out of what happened to her, is that it didn't go on for years and she didn't spiral, you know, because as the pressure mounts and gets more and more, you know, you can spiral out of control. And next thing you know, you doing shit that you just know is just way, way, way off of what you normally would do. So maybe it's good that this happened early enough to open her eyes. But when I was watching the video, I just felt so sorry for her because, you know, people don't like to be the the brunt of a joke when it's something serious like this, and people just don't seem to get it. You know, just recently, I think yesterday, Jess Hilarious had released her video about Meg, which I honestly was like, why would she release that after Meg did her live video? It would have been one thing if she would have done it before, but you would think that people would have respect enough for her. You guys are in the same entertainment industry, you know, like you guys are in the same, even though they're not in the same room, okay? But you know what I'm saying? It's just like, for her to joke about it after the fact, it was such in poor taste, such in poor taste. And I was just like, you must want the heat and the smoke that's gonna come with this. On top of that, it wasn't even really funny. I couldn't understand why Jess did that. And I didn't really research to see what all the fallout was gonna be from it, but I saw enough of it on Twitter. Honey, Ashley was mad enough about it that I could pretty much figure out how everybody else was feeling about it. But yeah, it was in poor taste because the shit is just not funny. It's not funny to get shot. I guess people think because it was in a place where her life wasn't threatened that it was something more that they could joke about. But once a person tells you that you hurting them, why do you continue to hurt them? I just felt sorry for her because she looked sad on the inside. Like normally she's always happy and bubbly and all of that, and you could just tell that she is just she's just in a place where she's not happy right now. But hopefully she will continue to have people around her that's going to build her up and hold her up and, you know, remind her what is right and where she should be going and not dealing with fuck niggas and dumb bitches that's, you know, out there to do you no good. It's a learning curve, you guys. It's just something that happens as you get older. You start to figure these things out sometimes sooner than later. And hopefully, like I said, it's sooner for Meg. But, you know, I feel for her and my prayers go out for her that, you know, she's going to be fine. She's going to be fine. But I just don't like to see the sadness in people's eyes. So did you guys see the video? Did you see the video of Drea? Did you see the video of Jess? Do you think it was fair that Drea lost her job? Do you think it was funny that Jess still continue to tease her about it even after she told them, you know, told people to please stop? You guys let me know what you think about that below. All right, you guys, so I'm trying to post this on July 30th. So if I do get this up for you guys July 30th, then tomorrow, July 31st, is Beyonce's debut of her visual album, Black is King, okay? Much like her visual album from Lemonade, that is what I'm expecting again, except this particular piece will be about the awesomeness of Black people. What I love about Beyonce is that she is unapologetically Black and that she will use her power and her influence and really just kind of put it out there. She don't really care. She knows that she has fans of all colors, but she is always going to promote being Black, and that's the part that I enjoy. She did it with the Super Bowl. She did it with her Netflix movie, the documentary, Homecoming, and now here we go again with Black is King. It's fine if she makes some people uncomfortable, but I like that she loves to celebrate with us. It will not be free like Lemonade was. Lemonade, I believe, debuted on ABC. And we all sat and watched because nobody knew what the hell Lemonade was going to be before it came out, you know. The majority of us, I know some stands out there, the Beehive, they may have gotten word of what it was going to be, but the majority of just the average viewer didn't know. And we were blown away by that. So, hopefully Black is King will be just another repeat of that. This time, though, it will be on Disney Plus, and you have to have a subscription to Disney Plus to enjoy that. Black is King, from what I understand, was a piece that she originally intended to release when Lion King came out. Okay, she held that back because for whatever reason, and then decided that now is the time with all of the civil unrest and the Black Lives Matter movement happening. Now would be the time to best release this visual album. And I'm assuming that the visual album will become an actual physical album that everybody could purchase or stream or however you get your music. And yeah, so good for her. It comes on tomorrow. Like I said, I plan on watching it. And are we excited about this? I mean, I'm not doing backflips or anything, but of course I would like to see what she, oh my God, I'm not going to be here. I just realized that I'm not even going to be home tomorrow to watch it. I'm going to have to take my box with me to the hotel. You guys, it's me and Mister's anniversary on the 1st, and it's Mister's birthday and my dad's birthday on the 2nd. Actually, it's my niece's birthday on the 3rd. Happy birthday to Lauren. It's my sister-in-law's birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday, Marvelous. We got a whole bunch of stuff going on in these next few days, but of course, my sister-in-law and my niece are in LA. But my anniversary and Mister's birthday, we are celebrating that this weekend, and I will be gone to the river, child. I'm going to the water. I can't wait. So now I'm just realizing that I won't even be home to watch Black is King, but I'm going to get it watched. Don't you worry. I don't know if I'll have time to talk about, I won't be able to talk about it right away unless I just really take a couple of hours out of my little vacay to get something up to you guys. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, I want to see it. I'm sure a lot of people are excited to see it, and people will be talking about it. And if it's worth talking about, then I'll talk about it too. Are you guys going to be watching though?